Well, hello everyone. It's Deb Naylor from the Flying Stamper. It's June 22nd, 2021, and I am doing this video for those of you attending the virtual class, My Favorite Bundle. So I'd like to get started first off by telling you the supplies that you will need to complete your class. You will need all 5 of the 2021 to 2023 in colors. If you do not have these stamp pads, then substitute with like colors. You will also need a black stamp pad. I have used the Tuxedo Black Memento pad, but any black pad will do. And speaking of a black pad, you can substitute that a lot for the colors as well. So if you do not have the 2021 to 2023 colors, use black if you would like. You will need a sheet of dimensionals, some sort of adhesive. I prefer the liquid adhesive, the liquid glue. Use what you prefer. You'll need Scotch tape or mini glue dots, whichever you prefer. And I'm just going to set these things up here. You will need a pair of scissors. I like to use the Stampin' Up! Paper snips. So I'll set that up there. I'm going to set the pads up here too. And then I like to stamp on a foam, this is called the piercing mat, with the photo Palmer stamps. It just gives you a nicer crisp image with a few less errors is what I found. And then you will also need your kit, which will look something like that. We're creating 5 cards today. You will have your own bundle because everybody got to pick their favorite, so yours might be different than what I'm using. So those are the things that you need to get started with. So if you want to hit pause and grab those things so you can stamp along with me, you can do that. All right, let's get started. So we are creating 5 different cards today. And this is the first one that we're going to finish up here. This one uses the Encircled in Friendship bundle. And it's a very beautiful bundle. Lots of great dies in it with beautiful lacy images. Your kit will come, this has already been dry embossed for you. I use the Ornate folder. And so you'll just be doing some minimal stamping and then putting this together. It is lined on the inside. Because it's a dark cardstock. It's on the Evening Evergreen cardstock. And then this is the Pale Papaya. Okay, so let's get started. So this is what your kit's going to look like. We're going to pull this out. With all of these, I'm going to encourage you to be careful because there are lots of little bits and pieces. So look in your envelope and make sure nothing's hiding in there. This one doesn't have a whole lot of embellishments in it because we're letting the framelits do all the work. So we do have this plain piece that's glued into the inside. So let me get my glue opened and rolling. And on the glue, it's good to stay away from the edges because it does spread out. And you don't really need a lot. One of the things that I really like about the liquid glue is that you have a little bit of time to move things around if they're not quite where you want them out on the card. Okay, so that's the liner. And then we're going to go ahead and glue the pre-embossed first layer on the outside. And center that up. Okay, and then before we go on, we're going to go ahead and wrap this around and tie it. And I kind of have it setting off to the side. You can put yours in the middle if you'd like, or wherever you would like, but I tied mine off over here on the side. You're going to have a little extra, so you will want to trim those edges of the ribbon. so it's not quite so long. And now the fun begins. We're going to do the layering of these dies. Now you are going to find these dies still have some pieces in them, so we've got to get those little pieces out. And this is one thing that I forgot in my supplies, but if you have the die brush and the foam pad, grab those too. I think this is the only project we'll need them for. If you don't have those, I'm going to show you in a second an alternate way to get these little things out. Okay, so that one wasn't too bad. The ones that are more intricate are the ones that you're going to have to do a little more work on. And I just realized that this is making the camera shake, so I may just take this over to my other table so that I don't make you guys all have a headache. So let me show you my alternate way of getting these out. If you don't have the die cut brush, you see I've got my paper snips, and you can just push them out that way. It just takes a little bit longer and you have to go a little bit slower. This is the worst part of the project, is getting all these little guys out. But it's really pretty when you get done. If you don't have paper snips, another thing that works really well is a stylist. If you've got one of those, along maybe a needle would probably work. You want something that's got a sharp point on it and that's small at the bottom, the point. Okay, I'm going to take this over to the other table, and I'm going to leave you to look at that while I finish this up, because I don't want to keep bouncing around. I didn't realize I would have done this before if I would have been thinking, but I hope you guys are all having a great day here in Ording. It's absolutely beautiful. We've had several days of really nice weather. Father's Day was gorgeous. Sounds like we're going to have several more days of nice weather, so that's good. Another thing that I wanted to make sure everybody knew was Stampin' Up! Is doing free shipping on Thursday, June 24th. So we don't do free shipping very often, so I always get really excited about that. Free shipping on an order of $50 or more. So if your order is not at $50, combine with a friend. If you live local, I will be putting an order in on the 24th midday, so you can get your order to me and I will get that in for you. We'll combine and go together, and then you can save on the shipping. You will need to pick your order up at my house, or I can meet you in downtown Ording when I'm out and about, and I'm usually downtown several times a week. Okay, I don't want to spend all your time doing this. I think you've got the basic part of this. So I'm just going to show you how this kind of goes together. First of all, I'm going to stamp this. So this is the evening evergreen that I used. So use it if you don't have this pad. Use a black would work, or a dark green. Garden green would probably work fine. Okay, so that just goes in the middle there. If you don't have this stamp set, you just need to find a small sentiment set. Okay, so I didn't get all these little things out because I just don't want to be having you spend all your time, but this is how it goes together. I use the Tombow liquid glue, just a little bit on the edges there, and then in the middle of this, and then I used a dimensional to pop this up a little bit. So other than getting the little bits and pieces out of the die, this is a very easy project and it goes together very quickly, and it is really nice looking when you get it done, so I think you'll be happy with that. Okay, let's move on to the next one. That out of my way. Okay, the next one is using the Elegantly Said bundle. and we use the polished pink. So this bundle looks like this, and it comes with this die. Now, I have to tell you, I really like the stamp set, but I wasn't really sure about the punch, but I am such a punch junkie that I ordered it. And I'm really glad I did, because that punch can be extended out. If you took my class last month, I showed you how to extend that out. Yours are all pre-cut for you, so you don't need to worry. So for this one, you will need the Positively Pink ink pad. And that's it. Well, plus your adhesives. So this one does have, and I stamped the corner of my envelope to coordinate. I like doing that. So this one does have a little bunch of parts and pieces in here, so be careful when you bring it out. You're going to find that you have a ribbon that's been pre-tied for you. You're welcome. You're going to find in yours that you have these little flourish flowers. I didn't have enough for everybody. I had exactly 24. So for my demo, I'm actually going to use the in color dots. And then you're going to find that you've got a rhinestone in your package too. Okay, so you have these two tags. Now these were made with this punch. And I did show everyone how to do that last month, but I know that we have some people that didn't come last month, so I'm going to go ahead and kind of show you how I did it. So you'll take your cardstock, and instead of going under the punch like you normally do, you normally stick things in and punch them this way, you're going to go on the outside, and you just line that up down at the bottom and punch it. And then you do the same thing at the other end. You line this up at the top, and you punch it. And then this is actually the same exact thing, except I punched with the bottom of the punch twice on each end. So this punch ends up being very versatile because you have all those extra options. So basically you can make like bookmarks, really long tags, titles for scrapbook pages, short tags. I mean, it's very versatile once you figure out how to use that. Okay, so let's talk about, now if you don't have the Elegantly Said bundle, find something maybe that looks kind of like this flourish thing, or just use some flowers. It doesn't matter. Or you could even leave it plain. You could even take this and run it through one of your embossing folders if you wanted to do that instead. So use your imagination a little bit. Be creative. We're going to stamp with the Flourish bundle, or with the Elegantly Said bundle, and we're going to put this flourish right on each corner here. This is a bigger stamp, so when you have a bigger stamp, it's best to take your pad, lay your stamp on its back, and take your pad and just ink it up this way. Okay, so we'll stamp in this corner, and then we will stamp in the other corner. And I know every time I bonk around, I'm actually going to buy some new equipment for my camera, and we will see if that moves around quite so much. I'll be deconstructing my studio after this class is over and getting it back into classroom format. So hopefully next month we are going to have a combo of virtual and in person, depending on what your comfort level is. Okay, so that's that. Now I did pop this up with dimensionals just to give it some extra dimension. So I'm going to put a dimensional in each corner. Let me set this over here because I'm going to use it again here in just a minute. This card, I got the inspiration from the Maui trip. We did a card swap with other demonstrators over there, and this was one of the cards that I got in the swap. And normally I will case people's work, but I always change it up a smidge. I barely changed anything on this because it's just such a great card. I think that I added the flourishes and the rhinestones, but that's it. Everything else, I believe I copied the way the person had created the card. Okay, so I'm going to put that there. And I'm going to actually, this is not a photo palmer, so I'm going to stamp on here because I want to go off on the edge a little bit. So put one of those here. And just for fun, I'm going to change it up a little bit and put that over there. And then the long tag is where you're going to put your sentiment. And I am running really low on birthday cards, so I'm going to make this a birthday. Whoops. Yeah, that's not straight. But that's why there's two sides to the paper. One to practice on, and one is the real side. At least that's what I tell everyone. All right, so let's then adhere this to this. And then these two. Oops. I almost put that on the wrong side. Go on this side, and then this gets layered across like this. Okay, we use a glue dot to attach the ribbon there at the top. So the thing about glue dots is if you open up your roll and then you lay your bow on it and then just pull it off, it sticks right to it and you're not trying to get that off your finger later. Okay, so you guys will have these cute little flowers, and they're not self-adhesive, so you will need to use either the glue pen or the Tombow. I'm not using those on this because I didn't have enough. Where did my little pink guys go? Well, I'm trying to be super organized, but it's the usual thing that happens in the stamp room. Everything gets lost. I'm still missing a die in here right now from all the cutting. Okay, I'm not going to spend your time looking around for that. It'll show up here in a minute somewhere. So you will put your floral there and a floral there using, you can use a glue dot. This one will fit perfect with the glue dot. This one you'd have to roll the glue dot up a little bit or use your liquid glue. You have a rhinestone to put there, and then I put a rhinestone in the middle there as well. So that's that card. Where are those little things? Sorry about this. There's always something that happens, but I think you've got the general idea of what you need to do. Okay, so let's move on. Close up this pad and get this box out of the way. I do have some door prizes for you guys at the end. Oh, here's these things. They were on the floor. I don't know where the rhinestones are, but they'll show up. I'll finish it off camera. Okay, yours will actually look a lot nicer because you have the florals to put on the edges there. All right. The next project is this one. And this uses the In Bloom stamp set and dies. And this was actually, this is hilarious. It's a case from a friend. The card doesn't look anything like what she gave me. I posted on my blog a couple days ago if you had a chance to look at it. It was a birthday card that she gave me and I didn't bother to grab it. But she had used this In Bloom stamp set, and I hadn't really noticed that these dies all had these stitches on them until I saw that card, and I just had to have those dies. I think I ordered it the next day. So it also has a fun little fold and a fun little clasp. So when you put this on, you put two dimensionals down here, and then this just kind of lifts up so you can close it. So it's kind of a clever little closure. And then it opens up like that. That's kind of fun. And I love these colors. It's the Fresh Freesia, and then this is from the Pansy Petals Designer Series pack. And speaking of the Designer Series pack, we are going to, for July, I just want you to see this, how cute they are together. For July, our class is actually going to be another Designer Series class paper. Stampin' Up! Is having a special next month. Certain DSPs will be 15% off. So I wanted to take advantage of that so that we could all save a little bit of money. So I don't know right now, they're supposed to announce, I think on Thursday, what packs are going to be on sale. So I don't know right now which pack we're going to use, but I hope to find out and get the invite out, and it'll be towards the end of July. So there's a lot of little bits and pieces in this pack. So just be careful when you open it up. Just tons of little guys hiding in there. All right, let's make sure we got them all. And then I'm going to try really hard not to lose them this time. So 2 stems, 4 little flowers, 1 large stem, a medium flower, a big flower, a tag, oh, a bee, and a liner. Uh-oh, we're missing a piece. And that would be why we do the video in advance, to see if we're missing pieces. Yeah. So now I'll be checking all of your projects. How fun is that? Yep, we're missing a piece. So stand by for a minute. All right, the piece that we're missing is this little guy right here. And he's got a fold on him. So you want to fold that. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and fold this. And then we're going to go ahead and glue the liner in. And you could stamp on the liner on the inside if you want. I'm going to leave mine blank. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with this card right now. Probably end up being a birthday card or a thank you card. That's what I need the most of. Oh, and before we do that, this needs to get glued in here. So this sits right on the edge, about 1.5 inches up. Don't worry too much about that. Don't get your ruler out because it doesn't really matter. As long as you put it on first, then you can line up everything else around it. Okay, so there we go. All right, now let's put our panel on. This is your project. If you like this side better than this side, go ahead and go for it. I really like the gingham, but you can see that this paper actually looks really good with this flower. Even though this is from the Pansy bundle, it still goes well with the In Bloom dies. All right, so that's that. Okay, and then the only other trick you got to worry about, and we want to stamp on this first, is when you put this together. So let's get this. This is the only thing that needs to be stamped. And we're going to do black on this so it stands out. And I'm going to go ahead and put "You Mean So Much" because that is kind of generic. And that means I could use it for a birthday card or a thank you card or something else. Okay, there we go. All right, so that is done. And then I'm going to go ahead while I'm stamping and stamp the corner of my envelope with the Bloom, one of the flowers from the Bloom stamp set. Okay, now we're ready to assemble. Okay, so this white layer gets adhered to the little fresh freesia layer. Okay, so this is the one part you got to pay attention to. You're only going to put dimensionals on the left side of the tag. So you don't want any over here because that needs to be open so that the little door here can tuck behind it. Okay, so no dimensionals under that side, only on the left side of the tag. Let's close that back up so we can get our layout. All right, so we have This goes down here. And this goes down here. And then the B goes down here. And you can lay these out however you want. I mean, if you want to put the B somewhere else, it's your card. Do what makes you happy, right? So you don't need much glue behind those. And I'm using glue on the B too. Now the glue does take a few minutes to set up, so you won't want to sit this card up, it'll run. You can use a glue dot if you would prefer, or the glue pen. Okay, and then it's this. Okay, so I put this on first, just so I could kind of see where I wanted it to lay at. And then everything else came after it. So one-dimensional. And then you kind of figure out where you want to put your stems and leaves. And the reason why I only used one-dimensional is because I want to be able to have room back here to tuck these guys in. So if you put a bunch of dimensionals back there, you don't have any room. So we can put them like that. It's your card again, so just put them however you want. So the way that I adhered these was just with a little glue. I left the lid off so it dried up. So you're always supposed to close that lid when you're not actively using it, even if it's only for a minute or two. It gets stuck. And then I don't know if you can see that, but I got a little tiny bit of glue on that petal. I'm not worried about it because I have one of those glue erasers, and I'll just go in and erase it after it dries. So I want that to pop out a little bit more. Well, you can't have it pop out too much or it won't fit in your envelope. So there we go. Okay, now the white. One white center here. And then we have another flower that needs to go on here. Oh, I just realized this was supposed to have one of the... All right, I'm taking that off. This is supposed to have one of the leaves. Hello. I did have my 2 coffee limit today. All right, there we go. And then another little white center here. So when this does get stuck on you, if you open it and close it a few times, that kind of clears the jam. So the glue dries down in the top of that is what happens. It forms and then it won't pop out. So there you go. That is that card. Isn't that cute? Yes, it's very cute, Deb. It is a lot of die cutting. It's not bad when you're doing one, but when you're cutting 30, yeah, that was fun. Love you. Okay, let's see what else we got here. All right, this next one features the Quiet Meadow bundle. This is the one that I have a lost die from right now. It's driving me nuts. I had it in my hand. I've set it somewhere. I can't find it anywhere now. It's driving me absolutely nuts. So anyway, here is what the card looks like. And then you can see I stamped the envelope. So this one I used that shimmery vellum. It comes in the new in colors, and we're using the Evening Evergreen and the Pale Papaya and the Soft Succulent. So if you don't have these colors for your sentiment here, just use like garden green or maybe always artichoke or a dark green, or you could use black too. Okay, let's get busy with this one. Now this is another one that you're going to find when you open up your envelope. Be really careful. There's lots of bits and pieces in here. So make sure nothing stays inside the envelope. And you can see when I pull this out, there's just lots of little bitty things in here. You got pearls, and you've got some more of those florals. So here's our layer. The card orientation is this way. And this is the new macrame folder. I love it. And I don't know if that's because I'm a child of the, 70s, where we did all kinds of macrame stuff when I was a teenager and a young adult. It was kind of trendy with our bell bottoms and our tie-dye shirts. But it really has nice texture to it, so I think you'll like it. Okay, so that's all glued on there. So now we just got to figure out, oops, one of our little pieces stuck there. Let's go ahead and get this, our sentiment, stamped. And I'm going to do the You're So Kind, or You're Too Kind. And we're using Pale Papaya. But again, if you don't have that, yeah, this ink pad is still pretty juicy. Some of these new ones just are so juicy. I'm so sorry, I just bonked the camera. Can't wait to get my new one. Oops. Okay, so I don't like that, so we have a do-over. There we go, that's better. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp the corner of the envelope with one of the little flowers. Okay, so stamping is done. That away. Okay, now let's talk about the layout. So, and you can lay this out however you want. I'm bending the wings up on the butterflies. All right, I did use glue. You can use a glue dot or whatever adhesive you would like. And I just put a little behind it. You don't really see it because the vellum is dark enough. I really don't need much. That's the other really nice thing about the liquid glue, is it really does hold well. You don't need a ton of it. The glue pen would be a good thing too if you do not have liquid glue. Or like I said, glue dots. Okay, there's butterfly here. And I have one of these little florals I put in the middle of a floral. And then the other one goes in on the tag. And the tag I did put on with some dimensionals. I guess I left those in the last box. Yes, I'm so used to cleaning up and putting things right back in the box, and then if I'm going to reuse them, I guess apparently I don't remember that. They're in the last box. Okay, so that's that. And then I want a butterfly. Here. And then another little flower here. Whoops. These guys are really tiny. I think I gave you all a big one and a little one, but there weren't enough big ones for me. Okay, and then you should have a bunch of pearls. And I'm going to have to do some quality check and make sure everybody got the right amount of pearls because I only have one in my package. So I may have done that to you as well. And that was not my intent. So before I mail out or hand out, I'm going to double check those. So let me just show you where the pearls go. You need one there, one there, one there, and one there. So I think you each have 4 pearls in your packet. I will make sure before I mail it out that that is indeed what you have. Okay, so there we go. So there is the Quiet Meadow bundle. And then I wanted to remind everybody that with a $50 order this month, you actually get a free pack of pearls. So if you haven't ordered yet this month, then, oh, you know what? There's the pearls. They fell out. See, things hide. They fell out and they were over on the side here. So I didn't mess that up. Yay. Okay, last but not least, we're going to be using the hand penned bundle. And we are using it in tandem with the hand penned Memories and More cards and envelope pack. And the only die that I used out of this bundle was this little scalloped edge here, which goes right here. So this card is two-step stamping, which means I used one stamp and then I over stamped it to get those different colors in there. So I'll show you how I did that here in just a second. Let's go ahead and get everything out of your bundle. And then we will talk about, now why does that have that? We'll talk about how to put it together and the stamping. So this is another one. When you open it up, make sure you get everything out. You have 3 of these genial gems. They're in the soft succulent and the pale papaya. So set those over there. You should have 2 pieces of the pale papaya ribbon, a piece of white, 2 pieces of black, and then the ruffle, and then your card base. Okay, so we're going to set the card base to the side for a minute, and we're going to go ahead and do the stamping first. The reason why I want to do the stamping first on this one is just in case we need to do any do-overs. I was thinking about this last night. I don't like stamping in public that much, so we may have a do-over. So the first step is to do the outline, and we're going to do that in Evening Evergreen. If you don't have Evening Evergreen, this would be another one where Garden Green would work, Always Artichoke would work. There's other options there. I'm just going to get a little stamping mat to put behind this. It's kind of a messy one too, so that I can off stamp and I don't get that on my pad, my stamping mat. Okay, so we're going to do 3 of these. Now when I do things like this, I always start with the one in the middle and then work out. And then that's the one that your eye draws into. So the other 2 aren't quite so important. So we're going to start with the center, and then I like to vary the height and even the angle, just to give some variation. And we'll go ahead and put our sentiment on there. These are all stamps from the hand penned. Okay, so we'll close up this, and we need to get out the soft succulent and the pale papaya. All right, so the pale papaya is going to go in these flowers here. We'll start with that first. And then we'll do the soft succulent. And you just line it up as best you can. Let's see. It's not going to be 100% fit. It's not supposed to. It's kind of a watercolory look. Oh, and that one kind of goes off. Okay. All right, so I got that one done. All right, so let's do the soft succulent, which is filling in the leaves. You could actually bring in a third color on this too. I'm going to offload to make it a little bit lighter. Yeah, that looks a lot better. So I would offload once just to make it a little bit lighter. Okay, I just realized I did not pull out the petal stamp. So let me get that on a block real quick. Or not the petal, the stamps, the leaf. Hello. All right, there we go. And I'll just pull the flower off that block. We can use that one. I try to get these blocks all ready before I do the live, just so it doesn't take so much time to get things ready. I feel like I'm missing a stamp. I think that's supposed to be a little bit fuller. I'll have to take a look at that. Okay, I'm probably going to do this over after off camera because I really don't like the way that that turned out. So I'm going to kind of show you just how to put this together so you don't have to watch me restamp. Okay, so we're going to attach this behind each corner, and I used Scotch tape. So I just put a piece of Scotch tape back behind. Oops, and now I got my finger in the ink. Yeah, I'm definitely having a do-over. And then again on the other side. And then these gems, I just scattered about. So I put one there, one down here, and one up here. And then this, just leave maybe about 1/4 of an inch. So you glue those. And you glue that. And on this, I glued it just above the dots, the dashes. Okay, now this was really hard to get these pieces all to be exactly the same, and you'll see on here that these aren't. So take your snips and just snip it off. This one's a little bit longer before you glue it all down onto your card base. Or you can center it up, but I would get rid of those edges. All right, so again, this is what the finished card looks like. So you've got a black layer here and a black layer here. And actually, I did that wrong. That goes like that. So the black just peeks out underneath the scallops. Okay, and try to keep your fingers out of the ink so you don't end up with things like that. But if you do end up with things like that, it's a perfect embellishment opportunity. A lot of times you get to the very end. So I could put those gems, they might cover it. Yeah, I could put those gems up there and cover that. You can always put a bow there. You could put another stamp there, a dark stamp. So there's lots of ways to cover up those boo-boos, those stamping boo-boos. We call those embellishment opportunities. Okay, let's get to the door prizes. I saved those for the end so that if you guys wanted to go back and rewatch the video as you're assembling your projects, you wouldn't have to watch that part again and you wouldn't have to scoot through it. So there are everybody's names in here. We had 25 attendees this month. And I think I have 6 or 7 door prizes. So let's get the party started. So we're going to start out with this Better Places stamp set. This is one of the Hostess only stamp sets. So when I placed your bundle order, I had some Stampin' Rewards to spend, so I spent it on you guys. So here is who's going to win this one. Kathy Hyatt. Kathy H. We have 3 Kathys in class this month. Okay, then I have some evening evergreen wide ribbon, which matches your nice new in colors. And this is going to Stacy G. I have, and I feel like these are the bomb of the thing. These kind of hard to get initially. I had to kind of wait a long time for these guys to arrive. Bumblebees. So it's 20 of the bumblebees that we used on the In Bloom project. Let's see who's going to win these. Linda Burrell. I have some Night of Navy Sahara Sand Baker's Twine. And that is going to Gina. I have a cute little stamp that says I will work or works for stamps with a Poppy Parade Stampin' Spot. And that is going to Juanita. I have some of that beautiful metallic ribbon that was so hot this spring. It was out of order, or out of back order a lot. Blushing Bride. That's going to Stacy H. All right, and then I have another Hostess set called Prince and Princess. It's got the beautiful swan on it and the frog and some really good words. And this is going to Rebecca. All right, so congratulations to our winners. Thank you guys for attending my virtual class. I really appreciate it. We've been doing this for a little over a year now. It seems like forever. I'm happy, though, to hopefully move back to some in-person events starting next month. So I hope everyone has a great day. Stay safe. If you have any questions or you're missing anything out of your kit, please reach out and let me know. Take care. See you next time.